So basically this is a HR database, okay, and you have to create an employee table, and for that particular employee table I have given the dummy data also. Right now we are loading data like this, okay, but further we will not going to load data by this particular tedious method, because this is a very tedious method where we are writing queries for each and every data, okay. So in the in the next classes we will talk about SSIs. There is a tool called SQL Server Integration Services. So for that we will talk that also. And there is another table called departments, and for departments I have these. There is another table I have created, that is locations, and for locations also I have provided the dummy data. So basically what you guys need to do, you need to first create the tables and then load these particular insert statement, okay. So you have to do that, and along with that there are few questions like related to this particular database only, like write a SQL query to find those employees whose higher salary is greater than the employee ID is 163, okay. So these are very basic questions. Start when you go deep down after 10th 11th 12th, the question will get more deeper and more complex. So try to solve these. If you have any doubt, let's please ask me there in the chat itself, so we can discuss it further in the group itself, or we can do it in this one. Hope that is okay. Actually, Charu, in the last class we have learned about tabled valued function. If you have remembered that, like, we have learned about tabled, what are tabled valued function, and how will we be creating these tabled valued functions. So that is what we talk. So let's get started. So today we will talk about another type of functions, okay. Basically user defined functions. We are talking about functions in SQL, and there is a type of functions we call that is user defined function, and this particular user defined functions are further classified into two types. That is that initially we have learned about tabled valued functions, and there is another function called scalar valued functions, okay. So basically, as the name suggests, this particular tabled valued functions, ये क्या करता है, ये functions, whenever we are writing this type of functions, it returns a table itself, returns a table. I have already shown you about how this is. And this particular scalar valued function will return a single value. The name says scalar. Scalar means single, and this scalar value functions will return the single value. So scalar function, basically what we are doing, we are going to create a function and it will return. First we will see how to create a scalar function, okay. Create a scalar. So for creating a scalar function, we will be using the DDL command called create function. And let's suppose I'm creating a function to add two. Let's suppose I'm giving a simple example. I'm creating a functions to add two numbers, okay. Yeah. Or let's suppose keep it as add. And for this particular, always remember that whenever we are creating any functions, we have to give parameters to that, okay. We have to give a parameter to that. So let's suppose for adding two number, what we need actually, we actually need two different values. Basically we want, I am declaring a value called at the rate a, and I'm keeping the data type as int, okay. Similarly, there is another value called b, and I'm also taking this as int. So this is how we declare the parameters, declaring parameters. So now we have to write return, okay, returns int. So basically what we are doing, this particular function is taking two different parameters of a and b, मतलब ये दो parameters ले रहा है, and वो return क्या करेगा, it will return a single value जो कि int type का होगा, begin and end. So basically what I'm doing, so it's as say that it is starting from here and it is ending, and I will write the code here in after return. So basically what I am doing, I am returning a plus at the rate b. So what it is doing, it is taking two different parameters, and it is adding it and returning here, okay. So this is the basic syntax. You have to mention the return type also, mention the return type also, okay. You also have to mention the here you have to give the code what you are returning basically. If I create it, you could see that it is being created, and now I have to use this particular function. So for using this particular function, or we will write select, and basically this particular function is created here. If you could see here na, in programmability, if I go here, there are functions, and there are two types of function, that is table valued function, scalar. Table valued function we have discussed in the last class. Scalar valued functions, so basically what I'm doing, I have created a scalar valued function that is called add number. Okay, so and its schema is dbo dot add number. So I will be using the schema also. Schema के साथ इसको use करना, add underscore number, and I'm putting two different values there. It is 12 and 10. If I execute it, you could see that I'm getting the addition of these two values. Okay, hope you understand this particular way of creating this particular scalar value function. Now we also have to, let's suppose we have done some mistake in the function and we have to alter a particular function. So if I have to alter the particular function, what we need to do, instead of this, what I will do, I will be using the another keyword called alter. So this is how we will be altering up. So let's suppose we have to alter a table, and instead of taking two arguments, what I'm taking three arguments. I'm taking three arguments, and I'm also changing it here as @b. If I'm taking three argument and I'm just changing this particular function to three argument. If I execute it, here could you see that it is showing that the command completed successfully. Okay, see, there is a way to see the definition of the function. Definition is basically function के अंदर क्या लिखा है ये भी देखने का एक तरीका. What we need to, there is a command which is given by Microsoft itself, that is sp help text. If you write that and give the function name, it will give you that what is written in this particular function. Okay, so this is how you could check the function to see the definition. So this is how we are seeing the definition of a particular function. Let's suppose we have to write another function. So I am write a function to determine profit and loss, and take selling price and cost price as the parameter. Guys, I hope this particular question is clear to you. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm taking the function. So what minus selling price, then so okay. So so we only want a return as profit and loss basically. Okay, so the return type will be what? It's a integer or a varchar. If I'm putting selling price this and cost price this, I'm doing the profit or loss. It only returns the profit and loss. Okay. So for that, what I will do, I will keep it as varchar 10 as begin, and so I will be writing my code here between this particular begin and end. And what I will do, I need to check first. I will need to first check which of the following which of the following parameters is greater. Let's suppose if sp is greater than, if at the rate sp is greater than at the rate cp. Okay, so this is how we will be using if condition. Okay, so we will write if, and then we will put the condition. So I will be return, so selling price is greater, then we will be returning profit, and else begin. So you have to mention this begin and end every time. Okay, let's suppose this is my begin and end. So you have to return this. Okay, so that, because for everything, like for even though you can see, if I'm creating a function, I am writing here begin and end. So similarly, what it specify कि एक particular, जैसे ये if कहाँ से start हो रहा है and कहाँ पे खत्म हो रहा है. So अभी तो right now we only have a single row. If I write it return profit without writing begin and end, there is no problem. But what if we have multiple rows, okay, in if condition? So for that we will be using this particular begin and end. Okay, and return. Let's suppose if the sp is greater than cp, and it will return profit, or else it will be loss. Okay, or what else we have, else if at the rate sp is smaller than cp, so it will return loss, and else it will return no profit, let's suppose. Okay, so I'm taking this control c, no loss slash no Basically when the CP and SP will be equal to, it will be no loss upon no. If I create it, you could say actually क्या है ना, see brother, there are only three conditions. First is पहला क्या है, पहला कंडीशन है सेलिंग प्राइस ग्रेटर देन सीपी, दूसरा है सेलिंग प्राइस लेसर देन सीपी, एंड तीसरा कंडीशन बाय डिफॉल्ट क्या है, वही एक कंडीशन बचता है वेयर both the selling price and cost price will be equal. There is one and only condition which is left, that is why I'm putting else. Either you can put it else if, okay, you can put it else if also, okay, so you can do that also. Hope that is clear to you, Charu. I just left this particular, I'm not returning anything, that's why it is showing some error. So else if begin end, else if begin end, begin end, I will return at the result. So basically this particular return is not working inside the clause. So what I'm doing, I'm using another variable. I'm putting my result set in another variable. Okay. Hope that is clear to you guys. So if I need to use this particular, see, so I'm just explaining you this particular function. So here I'm using creating profit and loss, and I have created two different variables or parameters, that is selling price and the cost price, and the return type will be varchar. I just only want the profit and loss. It will return only profit, loss, no profit. Okay. So what I will do, so declare at the rate, basically what I'm doing, I am storing a result. Let's suppose this profit, loss, and this is being stored in this particular result, and then I am storing this particular values into this particular variable and then returning it. So this is how we will be creating a scalar function. So select at the rate dbo dot, so my function name is profit and loss. So I'm taking 10 comma 20. Let's check whether it is working or not. So it is showing loss because my selling price is 10 and my cost price is 20, that is why it is showing loss. So this is how you will create scalar functions, because scalar function always return a single value. So you will find these small scalar functions, and the one and only like functionality of using functions is because we we want to use, like we want to use the concept of reusability. अपन बार बार एक ही कोड के लिए, एक एक रेगुलर कोड्स के लिए बार बार हम वही कोड नहीं लिखना चाहते. टू अवॉइड दैट particular thing, what I'm doing, I'm using this table valued and scalar valued function. Is it clear to you guys? Now you just need to change the values, brother. You see, uh, whatever you do, let's suppose I am using the select dbo add number. So I'm not every time rewriting that particular function. Once it is being written, एक बार अगर हम लोगों ने उस फंक्शन को लिख लिया, would see that this function will be stored in this particular, ये आपके डेटाबेस में, this is a type of a object only. फंक्शन एक तरह का आपका ऑब्जेक्ट है जो दैट इज बीइंग स्टोर्ड हियर. सो देयर आर मल्टीपल, जैसे टेबल वैल्यूड फंक्शंस के लिए हम लोगों ने फंक्शन बनाया था कि सेलेक्ट नेम सेल बाय टीचर, टीचर आईडी का यूज करके स्टूडेंट का नाम सेलेक्ट करो, स्टूडेंट नेम सेल लाइक नेम, मतलब कोई एक नाम दे दो, या ए से स्टार्ट होने वाला है, बी से स्टार्ट होने वाला है, एक टेबल वैल्यूड. बेसिकली व्हाट इट इज डूइंग, it is returning tables, okay, and here it is returning a single value. Hope that is clear to you. Okay, there is another way of creating. So if I write it like this, see, this particular function will, okay, so it's a 3 argument, that is why it is showing insufficient number of argument were supplied, okay, because we have changed it to 3 arguments. Okay, so it is showing 90. Now if you could see that I'm just checking this using this particular function and select star from, if I execute it, you could see that I'm getting these value, but the way of writing, I'm just showing you way of using a scalar function and way of using a table valued function. So you can see that for using a scalar function, every time a scalar function will be used within the select, because it is returning a single value. Okay, and whenever we are using a table valued function, we are writing select star from. Basically this table valued function act as a table, है ना. it acts as a table. That is why I'm writing it select star from, and this is how we are getting a record. This is how we are fetching records using a table value function, and this is how we are fetching a record from a scalar valid. Is it clear, guys? See, this is a scalar valid function. So for using a scalar, matlab, for using this particular scalar value function, what I'm doing, I'm using only select and the scalar value function. Okay, but for a table valid function, what I'm doing, I'm writing select star from, and then I'm writing the table valid. So there is a difference in using this type of functions, because दिस पर्टिकुलर टेबल वैल्यूड फंक्शन क्या होता है, एक टेबल की तरह एक्ट करता है. इट एक्ट्स लाइक अ टेबल ओनली. सो जब अगर हमको टेबल से रिकॉर्ड फेच करना है, वी हैव टू राइट इट सेलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम एंड देन द टेबल नेम. एंड यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, इट्स अ स्केलर फंक्शन. इट इज सिंपली गिविंग अ सिंगल रिकॉर्ड, एंड दैट इज हाउ आप सी स्केलर फंक्शन, min, max, every aggregate function, every date functions, every string functions is a scalar function, because it returns a single value as output. Whatever we have learned about, we learned about window, we learned about string functions, we learned about date function, we learned about mathematical functions. So every function, these type of functions, is a scalar valid function, but we are not creating it. It is a predefined function which is given by the Microsoft itself or the SQL server itself. We are not creating it, but in the user defined function we have two type of different function, that is a table valid function and a scalar valid function. Is it clear to you? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. Thank you. So let's okay. So this is more about a table value function and a scalar value function. What I want you from, guys, like I have prepared a few questions, prepared the questions based on scalar and table value, S SBF and TBF. So I have prepared the questions on scalar value function and table valid function. So you guys have to like do that and send the document to me. Now we will be seeing about two different variable, that is declare and set. Basically we are seeing how we are creating a variable, this is a very important thing, we creating a variable and setting the values on the variable. बेसिकली क्या होता है, वेरिएबल से मतलब क्या है कि हर बार आपका डेटा स्टैटिक नहीं होता है. क्या होता है, हर बार कोई, जैसे इफ यू कुड सी देयर हियर in this particular profit and loss, I have put the parameters. This is the parameters मुझे देना है. But when I am using this parameters, this is the variable, 10 and 20 are the variable. अब जरूरी थोड़ी है कि हर बार मेरा 10 और 20 सेम. सो व्हाट वी नीड टू डू, वेरिएबल मतलब वैरी करना. सो फॉर दैट SQL प्रोवाइड्स अ फंक्शनैलिटी कि कैसे आप एक वेरिएबल को डिक्लेयर कर सकते हो एंड कैसे आप एक वेरिएबल में कोई डेटा या वैल्यू डाल सकते हो. बेसिकली क्रिएटिंग अ वेरिएबल एंड सेटिंग द वैल्यूज. So for creating a variable, what we need to do, we need to use the functions called declare at the rate name, and then you have to give the data type var. So whenever you are declaring a variable, its syntax would be declare, and then you have to give the variable name and the data type. This is how. So this is how we are declaring a variable. Similarly, it's a very small concept and easy concept, don't worry about it. I'm teaching it because we are going to use this declare and set every time. Okay, set is basically, and let's suppose I have to set a value, this particular name. So right now I'm putting a set. अभी मैं एक static values को दे दे रहा हूँ, that is Rahul. We will be using this particular variable, so आपको in dynamically also. So if I have to print this particular variable, it will printing Rahul here. See, one thing you need to observe, that if I only try to execute it, it will not be executed, because क्या होता है, आपने whenever we are creating any value, वो रन टाइम पे वैल्यू क्रिएट होगा, रन टाइम पे ही वैल्यू सेट होगा, एंड रन टाइम पे वो वैल्यू का डेटा प्रिंट होके इट इज गेटिंग डिस्ट्रॉयड. अगर आपको आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स once we are declared it and then set it the value, and if it, and then only you can use it. So if I run it all together, it is working and it is giving the record. If you try to run it separately, and if you think that it will stay in the memory and we will get the, will again get the Rahul के, no, it is always getting destroyed. once ये रन टाइम पे ही डेटा को अपने अंदर स्टोर करके रख सकता है, until and unless the moment the execution of the program got completed, the uh, the values, the this particular variable is also got destroyed. So this is how we're creating and setting record of a variable. Now we will be seeing the types of temporary tables. Okay, and these temporary tables are classified into two types. This particular temporary table is first classified into a local temporary table and global temporary table. Local and global temporary table. So basically local and global temporary table अपन कैसे बनाते हैं, इसके functionalities क्या है, we will see that. Okay, so let's see. Let's see the syntax for creating a local temporary table. So for creating a local temporary table, what you will do, we will write the same. इसको भी create करने के लिए we will write create table, but instead of giving the table name, what we will do, we will give a hashtag and the table name. So let's suppose my table name is student. I'm naming this as student records, student names. I'm just keeping it student names. And similar to creating, जैसे अपन table create करते हैं, इसमें भी अपन को इसका data type या इसका basically column decide करने पड़ेंगे. तो right now I'm just using, मुझे एक कॉलम की जरूरत है, इट इज नेम, एंड इसका ये रखने वाला हूं मैं वैल्यू. दिस इज हाउ वी क्रिएट अ local temporary table using a single hashtag. Okay, so I'm just creating this particular table, and if I execute, you can see that this particular table is being executed. And select, and if you use, अगर आपको ये table use करना है, you will use it as it is simple. जैसे table अपन use करते थे, we will use it in the same way. So let's try to insert some value in this particular student table. Okay, so I'm just inserting some record, insert into. Okay, see, this is how we can write a value. So अभी तक हम लोगों ने insert करना कैसे सीखा था. We write insert statement using the values keyword. Okay, so inserting a record from one table to another. So this is how we are inserting a record from one table to another. The insert into and the table name, and then we are selecting. So यहाँ पे सिर्फ एक ही column है, that is why I am only selecting the first name and putting it into the table. So this is how we insert the data from one table to another. You could see that 10 rows are affected. Again, if I try to rerun this particular table, you could see that the data is being inserted here. So this is how we create our temporary table. The one major thing related to temporary table, that it is not accessed outside the session means आप देख रहे हो that I am created a query, and इसका query ID number क्या है, 56. Basically I have created a session for running all my queries. So जब तक मैं इसको बंद नहीं देता हूँ, my session is active. Okay, so if I try to, I'm just creating a new session using a new query, and if I try to execute the same table outside the session, we could see that it says invalid object name that do not exist. So it means that this particular table can be accessed within the session. So now this is one thing. Now if we want to alter a temporary table, alter a global या alter a LTT, local temporary table. So what you need to do, it is similar to the altering a table, like जैसे आप actual table को alter करते हो, it is similar to that only. Okay, alter table, I'm using the same control C, control V. You could see that it is being executed, and if I try to run it, you could see that one other column is being added. It is similar, जैसे आप normal table को alter करते हो, it is similar to that only. So don't get confused. So this is how we alter a table. You could add values, you could add columns here, you could remove columns from here. Even though you could change the data type of a column, change the data type of a column. You could do everything which you are doing in a normal table. Okay, so this is how we create a table. We create a local temperature table using a single hashtag, and after that we are inserting record from a particular table to another table, and this is how we are altering a particular student table. If you want to drop this particular local temperature table, what you will do, you will write drop table and control V. Okay, so if I run it, you could see that that particular table is being dropped, and if I try to execute it, it says that invalid object. So this is how we create a local temperature table. Now let's quickly move to creating a global temperature table. And what does this global means? Okay, ये कोई भी टेम्परेरी टेबल एक समय तक ही, एक सेशन तक ही डेटाबेस इंजन में रहता है. उसके बाद once this particular sessions are being destroyed, these particular tables are being destroyed automatically. So like it is a better use कि आपका CPU utilization ज़्यादा ना हो. So once this particular table is being used, you drop the table. So that is a common practice we have, that एक बार temporary table का use हो गया, we drop it. Okay. So let's see how we are going to create a global temperature table. So for creating a global temperature table, we will write create table, and instead of using the single hashtag, what we will do, we will use a double hashtag, and I'm creating the table as student ID. I'm creating the same name table, but instead of single hashtag, I'm putting double hashtag. And if I create it, you could see that this particular table is being created, and let's try to insert data from this particular table to this particular table. Okay, so I am writing it double hashtag student name by ID. If I try to execute it, you could see that 10 rows are affected and data is being inserted from this particular student table to this particular global temperature table. Double hashtag means global temperature table. Okay, I will write it here. Created using single hash and created using double hash. So this is how we create a global temperature table. Insert into student ID, student name. I have inserted the record. Let's try to select the value from select star from, and I'm using the same table. It will be. You could see that we are able to select the data from the global temperature table, and if I try to execute the same query, okay, so right now I try to execute this particular local temperature table in the other query, other session, so we are not able to access it. This is the error message which we got. But if you try to execute it, you could see that it is being, like, we are able to access this particular global table. This is the only advantage of using a global temperature table. So अगर आपको पता है कि your table, let's suppose you are doing some analysis, okay, and you know that you will be using this, आप क्या होगा कि you are storing some values into a table, and you are going to do some manipulations into another query. You know that. So for such conditions we are using global temperature table. आपको ये भी पता है कि these sessions are being created, और सेशंस क्रिएट होने के बाद आप उनको दूसरे सेशन में यूज होना है. So for such conditions we will be using global temperature table. For local temperature table we will be using local temperature table mostly in SPs. Okay, because मैं नहीं चाहता हूँ कि SP के बाहर मेरे ग्लोबल टेम्परेचर टेबल या फंक्शन के बाहर मेरा कोई ग्लोबल टेम्परेचर टेबल कोई एक्सेस कर पाए. Okay, so for that what I will be doing, I will be using the local temperature table. So basically it is used using stored procedures, and every time we will be using that. So this is how, similar to that, the alteration will be same as global and the original table which we do. So this is how we alter a table. Make sure you are specifying this double hashtag every time. That is how you will be able to do the things with that particular table itself. उस टेबल के साथ काम करने के लिए आपको मेक श्योर करना पड़ेगा कि डबल हैशटैग हो, नाम सही होना चाहिए. डोंट यूज यहाँ सिंगल यूज कर लिए वहाँ डबल यूज कर लिए, ऐसा नहीं. सिंगल मीन्स लोकल टेम्परेचर टेबल, डबल मीन्स डबल हैशटैग मीन्स global temperature table. For global temperature table you are asking? No, actually see, the SQL compiler, for the simpler SQL compiler, your SQL engine understand the local and the global temperature table based on this particular hashtag. Okay, so if we have a single hashtag, it means it is a local temporary table, and if I try to execute it with outside the session, it will not get executed, and we are not able to access that particular data. Similar to that, if you come down in the global temporary table, there are two hashtags I am using. So for SQL engine, how it defines it, it sees that if we have double hashtag, it means that is a global temporary table, and we can access this particular global temporary table outside the session itself. See, let's suppose a local temp table is not a CT. No, no, it do not. No, no, it do not works as a CT, because a CT table is a construct or a structure. Okay, it basically a class. A class do not exist. If we have to use a class, we have to create an object of that. Okay, you can't directly use a class. So basically it is a structure. CT tables, whenever we are creating some CT table, guys, we will talk about CT table as well. So CT table is basically stands for common table expression. CT table is like it will run on the runtime. The moment the query is being executed, it will get destroyed. You will not access it outside the table itself. Let's suppose if I'm just writing a showing examples with CTE, we will see this particular table. Okay, so let's talk about, so this is all about local and okay, sorry for that. uh, just sharing my screen. Okay, now you can see my screen, I guess. Okay, so this is all about global temporary table and local temporary table, guys. So now we will see about another topic called CTE tables. Okay, CTE tables, why, what are CTE tables, where we are going to use the CTE tables, and okay, and it's a very important topic related to interviews. Okay, for interview also we will be using this CTE table. Interviews also you will be using this particular CTE table, and for solving the product based question, solving the SQL question, you have to know this particular concept called CT tables. So CT table stands for common table expressions, common table, and it is basically a construct. It is a construct. It behaves like a table, but it is not an actual table. What it does, like whenever we are, let's take an example. Let's suppose we are fetching some data from the database and showing that data into a record, into a report. Okay, and all those report data, we don't want to store it anywhere. The moment the moment data is printed into the report, we don't want to keep that data. Okay, so for such condition, okay, or else if you want to show some data, we don't want to store that data. For that time, what we will be doing, we will be using this particular CT table. Let's check how, what is the syntax. So for using a CT table, you have to use this particular semicolon with and the CT table name, with CT table name as, and you have to give the query here. Basically what you are selecting, let's suppose I'm selecting the select statement, what you want to. So this is the way of creating a CT table. Let's take an example. For example, what I'm doing, I'm creating a CT table to fetch all the records from the student table, let's suppose. So we will write with CT as, and I'm selecting select star from student. Okay, and select star from CT. If I run it, you could see that I'm able to select the value. See, right now it is a very simple example. We are selecting data, but whenever we have to do some different manipulations, and we don't want to store that manipulations into a table. Let's suppose um, if you want to add another column. Let's suppose I want to add this particular first name and last name and create a full name. Okay, if I want to add another column. What I will do, I will concatenate first name and last name. Concat first name, last name. Okay, sorry. So concat spelling is wrong. And I'm naming it as full. And if I write it, if you could see that I don't want to store this manipulation anywhere. ये concat का जो manipulation, whatever manipulation we are doing, we don't want to store that. What I'm doing, I'm just printing it on the go, and that is being executed, and it is showing the full name. Let's suppose from the CTE table, from this particular table, I just want the student ID and the full name. Student ID and the full name. If I run it, you could see that I'm just getting the student ID and the full name. Anyway, you could do it here also. You could do it here ID. You can only select the student name and full name. But we can do lot more manipulations here. यहाँ बहुत सारे different mathematical manipulations और advanced manipulations अपन कर सकते हैं. And we don't want to store that manipulation anywhere. We just want to use the result. Okay, we want to just to show the result. So this particular CT table will come in use. Okay. Now if I try to select, see, if I try to run this particular CT table itself, अगर मैं इसको अकेले run करने की कोशिश करूँ, you will see that there is no object called CT. So basically what is happening, it is this particular CT table exists within the runtime only. वो runtime पे ही exist करता है. It exists in the runtime, and once this particular execution of the command gets over, this particular CT table got dropped. Okay, so within the run time, the CT table exists, and once the execution of the command gets over, the CT table got destroyed. So this is what happens with the CT table. Basically, you have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, this is about, so we learned about global temperature table, and we have also learned about another type of table, that is a CTE table, that is a common table expression. So now coming to the question, like of Shravan. Okay, Shravan asked that is the CTE table is similar to the global temperature tables. No, it is not similar to the global temperature table. Here you could see, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो that I am using this particular global temperature table within the session. Within the session हम इसको बार बार भी यूज कर सकते हैं. हम लोगों ने इसको एक बार क्रिएट किया, डेटा इंसर्ट किया, और मैं इसको बार बार यूज कर सकता हूँ. But in CT table, this is not going to happen. We can't use it again and again. Every time you have to add some value into this particular CT table, and then you have to fetch it. So this will be a CT table. Okay. Now there is another point which I want to mention. If you try to use this particular CT table, अगर यहाँ पे let's suppose मैंने एक CT table define किया, मैंने उसको एक बार use किया, and if you try to again use this particular CT table within the session, within this particular query, it will not got used. वो next query तक ही exist करता. Okay, so keep that in mind. You can't use it anywhere in the anywhere. Okay, एक बार आपने CT table यहाँ पे use किया, it means this particular CT table is got destroyed. You can't use it again and again, even though not in the next line में भी नहीं use कर सकते. यहाँ here you could see it is saying invalid object name. So for first it gave the data, and again when it is trying to execute this particular CT, trying to fetch record from this particular CT table, it shows that it is being destroyed. Okay, so this is all about the CT table. Now there is we talk about CT table. Let's suppose we talk about CT tables. Okay, so there is another type of CT table, that is recursive CT table. Recursive CT table means there is a functionality of a CT table that you can use a CT table in the same CT table. Let me show you again. मैं बोल रहा हूँ you can use a CT, एक particular CT table को आप उस CT table के अंदर भी use कर सकते हो. Let's suppose. So I have to write a query to print sequence till 15 using recursive CT table. So how I'm doing to basically I am writing a query to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on till 15. Okay, I want to print that. Okay, so what I will do, I will write with CT as, and let's suppose my sequence is starting from 1, so I'm writing select 1 as sequence number SN, and I am union all. Basically what I'm doing, मैं union all कर रहा हूँ, and I am selecting again the SN. मैं वापस से I am selecting SN plus 1 from CT where SN is less than 50. Okay, so what I'm doing, first I have created the CT table, and then I am selecting 1 as SN. Let's suppose उसने क्या किया, उसने एक बार SN डाला, एंड जैसे ही ये नेक्स्ट स्टेप पे गया, इट इज सेइंग कि गो एंड चेक इन द सिटी टेबल वेदर वी हैव अ एसएन, क्या मेरे पास कोई एक सीक्वेंस नंबर है, तो इट विल से यस वी हैव अ सीक्वेंस नंबर 1, it will plus 1 the sequence number and again give it to this particular city table. एंड ये कब तक रिकर्सिवली घूमेगा, ये तब तक रिकर्सिवली, और इट गोज इनटू द लूप till that SN is lesser than 15. If I run it, start from CT. If I run it, here you could see that it is printing a record from 1 to 15. Okay, so this is how we are using this CT table. Can be used for multiple recursive function. I will provide you some question related to, like there is a question called Fibonacci series. For Fibonacci series, basically what I am doing, we are taking SN. Basically Fibonacci series is, let's suppose it is starting from 1, and then it will join last two digit. Okay, so the first last two digit is 1 only, so it will give 1. Then it will, for third, what it will do, it will join the last digit, it will give 2. For fifth, for fourth place, what it will do, it will join the last two records, it will give 4. So similar to that, again it will give 7. So this is how is the Fibonacci series. Try it in the home, try it. Okay, like how we will be achieve this recursive city table, get some understanding about the recursive city table. And this is all about the recursive city table. Okay, so local temporary table we are using in SPs, Shravan. Okay, when we talk about optimization or optimization techniques, there is a very common thing that we can't use CT table, because for using a CT table we have to keep it active. Okay, we have to keep it active during the session itself. Like I have shown you that if I try to execute it, and in the same time if I try to execute this will not be used, this will not be executed. So correct, it do not works. So what happens, there is a recommended, and if I have to use this particular city table, what I need to do, I have to create another city table, and then I have to link the city table for, so it is very inefficient way basically. Okay, so in stored procedure, when we are talking about optimizing a stored procedure, like we are storing some chunks of record into a temporary table, and we can use this particular chunks of record into anywhere in the SP, so that we are not hitting the database directly. Got it? So once the data is being stored into a temporary table, so that is the scenario of using that particular temporary table. But this particular CT table, what happens, let's suppose we are talking about views, we will talk about views are basically, guys, Ashley and Charu, views are basically are virtual tables means it do not store a actual data, but there are some codes are written inside that views that will return some records. Okay, whenever you hit that view na, it will return some records. So Shravan, so when in views we are not storing data. Let's suppose if we are creating a temporary table, storing data there, and then showing it into a view. What is the point of creating a view? View is basically, we don't want to store a data anywhere. Okay, we just want to optimize our data, or we want to keep our data as a security purpose also. We don't want to store it anywhere in the temporary table. We just want to once the user hit the view, it shows the data, and the moment this particular data is being displayed, we don't want to store it anywhere. Okay, for such condition we will be using ct table. Okay, okay, now your difference, what you ask about, you're not getting the difference between ct table and not whenever, only during the session. Yes, okay, it is not storing data now. It is not basically a table. We are creating a structure. It is not a table itself. CT table, we call it CT table basically, but it is not a table itself. It is a simple, it is a kind of a structure which is showing some record. That's it. It is not storing a data at all. Yeah. Please, please. Yes, yeah. Local temp table gets stored in heap for some time. Once that particular session is being destroyed, that temporary tables are also being destroyed from the heap. Okay, so that is the main functionality and thought process. So let's suppose we are doing some manipulation. Let's suppose I have written this particular concatenate full name. Okay, do you want to use it do you want to do this manipulation every time into a temporary table, or once you want to do it, show it somewhere, that's it? So whenever we are doing such manipulation inside our query and we don't want to save it, for such cases we will be using this particular ct table. Charu, Ashley, any questions? If you have anything, please ask. Okay, so this is all about, we learned about how we create scalar function. We learned about difference between scalar functions and table valued function. So in interviews they ask about, okay, interview related questions, scalar valued function versus table valued functions. So have a look onto this, guys. Okay, I will send the document for this also. So this is all about ct tables and how we will be using this ct table regularly. And please go through this ct table, how we are going to use this particular ct table. So now we have another concept called case statements. Okay? And for this particular case statement, basically when क्या होता है, whenever we have to give conditions in a SQL, what we need to do, we need to use some of the conditional formats, and we have different conditional format like case statements or if else in SQL. Okay, so I will be showing how we will be using this particular case statement and what is the syntax for using this particular case statement. For syntax for case statement, what we will do, we have to use this particular keyword called case, and it will be like case end. Okay, inside this particular case statement, what we need to do, we need to write when basically we are putting cases, different cases. Okay, so I'm just writing, I will give you an example also. When condition, basically you put the condition, and then means if this condition satisfied, what we are going to do then, and you will put the exact what we are going to do, functionality, basically what we are going to do, result. So you could put multiple when conditions here also. So the interviewer asked that which is more faster, case or else. Basically case is more faster because we'll talk about it why case is more fast. So this is how we will get, or there's a last condition else, and you will put the condition. So in else you don't have to put the condition, you have to simply give the result here. Okay, so let's see something related to this. So we have a table called employees. Okay, so cell, and in this particular employee we have this particular departments. So what I need to do, I need to check if the department name is greater than 50, then put it as IT. Okay, so let's suppose I'm writing a query, write a query to fetch, to show the records if the department ID is greater than 50, then it should be IT. I'm just making a hypothetical condition just to show you guys. Okay, that doesn't mean that it belongs to this particular row set or particular data. And if the ID is less than greater than 50, then it is a let's suppose marketing, and we have to only show the employee ID, department ID, and the department name. Let's suppose IT and marketing is the department name. So write a query to show PMP ID, DP ID, department ID basically, and the DP name. So I'm writing a query, select. I'm using this employee ID, comma, and I just want a department ID. That's it. I don't want anything else. Department ID, comma. Now we have to write a select statement. What we are sorry, we have to write a when statement or case statement. So what we need to read, have to write case when a department ID is greater than 50, then it should be marketing. Okay, and I'm using the same case when department ID is lesser than 50, then it's a IT department. Okay, end means we are ending this particular case statement. Case, so basically there will be no double cases. So it starts from here when, and when the department is greater than 50, it is marketing, and I'm writing as, basically I'm writing the column name. मुझे इसका column name क्या देना है? That is why I'm writing as column name as department from employees. If I run it, you could see that for I'm getting all the three records, and for department ID greater than 90, it is showing marketing, and if it is lesser than or equal to 50, then it should be showing, so it will be showing IT. So marketing, and the IT. Hope that is clear to you guys. This is how we will be using this particular case statement. Now this is the case statement we used within the columns. We can use this case statement in order by clause also. Okay, case statement in the order by. So what I will be doing, I am using the same query, and instead of I just want to see this, that department ID is, department name is not actual column. ये कोई actual column नहीं है. Okay. So if I try to order it by department name, see whether it is working or not. If it is working. Okay, so if we can also use this particular case statement also here. Okay, so in this particular case statement, we have the third column. Let's suppose this is the first column 1, this is the second column, and this is the third column. So we can write it as order. So this case statement can be used in order by clause. This particular case statement can be used in where clause also. Okay, so check it. I want you to check in home, so we can talk about it further. So this is all about a case statement, how we are going to write. So basically we are starting from case and end, and when the condition, then this will be the result. When the condition is this, then this will be the result. So this is how we are using the case statement. Let's check one more example. Let's suppose we have to write a query. This is a very important and very logic building query. Please have a look onto that. Okay, write a query to find the sum of different job IDs. What I want as a result set, that I want job IDs, find the sum of salaries of different job IDs. Basically, I want a column called, so we want a data like this. Let's suppose I'm just opening Excel. So we want a data like this. We want a table called salary. We want a salary column, and there are different job IDs. Let's suppose we have job IDs like let's suppose let's check for two job, IT program and FI account. Okay, so I want a job IDs for like control V. So this is the salary, this is the salary column. Basically we want salary for IT here, and then sum of all the salary for FI account. Okay, we want the data like this. Let's suppose, yeah, this will be X, this will be Y. We want the data like this. Guys, do you understand the question? Yes or no, please? So let's suppose I'm writing a select query. Select. So basically I'm using sum, I'm using an aggregate function, and I'm saying when when job ID is equal to IT program. Okay, when j- okay, so I'm writing a case statement, basically case when job ID equal to IT program, then salary as IT, and I'm using the same. Basically, I will explain you this particular what it is doing. It will be I have to put it end here because I'm starting the case statement. We haven't ended it from employees. Okay, case statement sum when job ID equal to IT, then salary and IT program, and it will be like FI account. I just want to use FI. If I run it, you could see that I'm getting the horizontal all the sum for IT. Let's suppose see there are यहाँ पे बहुत different IDs भी थे, different job accounts थे. So there are different job IDs, and I don't want to group those job IDs. Basically I don't want to find the data like this. Let's suppose select job ID from some salary group by job ID. Okay, if I run it, you could see that I am getting the record here horizontal wise, and similar to that I am getting the record here vertically. See, we are getting the result here horizontally, and here I am getting the record basically I am pivoting the our my result set. मैंने result set को pivot कर दिया, change कर दिया. So ऐसे भी conditions आ सकते हैं ना जहाँ पे we want to put the condition in sum, like वैसे ही you want to do the sum of those salaries जिसका job ID IT program ही हो, and you have to put it horizontal wise. So for such cases we will be using this particular case statement. Okay, so there is a so they ask this in a product based question also. Control, if I run it, if I run both the statement, you could see that it is showing IT program, sum of all salaries, FI account, sum of all salaries, FI manager, sum of all salaries, basically. And for this, it is showing job ID. So it is showing the record vertically and it is showing the record horizontally. So this is the basically I want to let you know that we can use this particular case statement within the aggregated functions also. Okay, so this is one thing. Guys, any questions so far? Yes, we can use that. Yes, so we can use case statement with group by also. So please have a look into that. If there is a problem, we will definitely discuss it. So I just want you to do some research. That's it. That is why I am. It would be. I will show it right now. Just try to do some research how we will be using this into the where clause, how we will be using this into the group by clause. So that is how you will get to find the different examples. So this is all about this case statement. So now I will show you how we are going to use if else. So if is similar to, okay, so what are the syntax for using? So we will be write if and the condition and begin and else, then begin. So this will be the syntax for this particular. Between begin and end you have to write your queries. Okay, or you have to write your result, what result set you are going to give using this particular begin and end. So okay, so this is how we will be using this particular if else. So if, and then you have to put the condition. You can use multiple if also, like you can put else if also, else if, and you can put the condition here. We actually don't use it, like in most of the cases we use else only, if else sorry, case only. That is why I'm not very habituated with if else. So whenever we are used, so I'm just trying to convert that into, but we will definitely check it once if and else. We can do PMLs also here. So yes, okay, so this is more of a case statement and if else. Guys, do we have any questions on to that? Otherwise we will discuss some of the questions related to the topic which I have shared. This is the questions we have uh, write a query, display employee ID. So please give a try once, like what are the different questions I have. Just try to give this, try it once. If you face any problem, just make keep a doubt, write it like this, okay? Doubt, and we will discuss that later on. So this is one thing. In next class, we will discuss about stored procedures. This is this is again one of the important topic. We will talk about dynamic query creation, and also we will talk about different information schemas. Okay, information schema. So this is. Do you have any questions, guys? Yes, open for questions now. Okay, so what happened? See, what is the actual market demand they are asking, and how we are actually using into the project, that is completely different. If you go and see our projects and all, the way we are writing queries and doing it, and the way we are presenting ourselves into the and window functions. So these are some of the things which they are mostly targeting on, whether you know that particular concept or not. Let's suppose if we talk about triggers, if we talk about functions versus store procedures. So these are few list of concepts. Along with, they talk about joins. They never talk about the logic. They never talk about the what are your analysis. They are always concerned about the syntax, how you are writing the code, how you are executing it. Okay, because anyway, if you go into the live project, you will be using your co-pilots. Like we have Microsoft Copilot, we have uh, you people are using Chat GPT, people are using different AI tools. Okay, so start focusing on more of the analysis part. Like, see, I have given you a data, the base, given you a dummy HR database. Okay, so try to solve these questions. Okay, try to solve, get those questions more better. I will list out at least 10 to 12 topics which will help you to prepare you during the interview. That is pure and pure transactional SQL. What are transactional SQLs, what are asset properties, what we have in our triggers. Sorry. Yes, yes. Hmm. Okay, yes. So they will ask these questions. They will ask what is partitioning. They ask what is sharding. So there are a few topics. I will definitely create a document for you, Shravan. I will create a document for you. What are their expectation, and I will create a playlist also. Okay, actually, I have a playlist for all the product-based questions which I'm solving there, and on YouTube, and then made a playlist for that. You can refer that also. So that is one thing. And okay, so there are few things. I will definitely make a sheet what they are expecting out of interview. uh, One more thing, they ask about different questions, like what are